Yo, what's up guys? Blast back with some more Clash Royale content, and today we're doing something special. We're hitting back to basics. So as you can see, I just hit level 7. I've been meaning to film this video for so long, but it's basically how to beat every single arena level. The tips, the basics, and kind of troop behavior, how you have to win. So what I did is I made a new account. I pushed all the way up when I was level 6, right there to 2,300 cups. Recently I've fallen. I haven't been playing this much, but the thing of it is I'm using troops all from training camp and arena 1. So the only arena 1 ones I threw in was basically the Valk and the 2 Gobs, and I want to do this only using training camp troops. And some basic troops. Yeah, could I use epics? That Skelly army is a beast. Yes, I could use epics. Probably should use Fireball, but if I'm limited to this troops, which I want to show you, you can push all the way up. I pushed 2,300 cups as a level 6. I'm beating level 9s and 10s, but you gotta know the basics, guys. So I chose those 8 cards. They are the only 8 cards I've used on this account, and I went from the start all the way 2,300 as a level 6 with these troops. So let's check out some replays, go over some basics. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. So unfortunately, guys, I had a ton of replays like down here of just like crushing high level players with a lot of legendaries and a lot of max decks, you know, using stuff that I'm not using, but constant updates. All these things kept getting deleted. So we're going to have to go off my recent replays. But basically, guys, you can counter any deck. Now, am I saying, guys, you should only use Arena 1 troops and push all the way up to Legends? No, there's things called meta. There's better cards. But when you know the basics, you can take a better card and excel. So learning on these simple beginning cards, learning the basics is going to help you win at every level. You don't have to stick with these cards. I'm doing it for a point. You want to let your elixir build in the beginning, guys. You want to maybe see if they're going to do something crazy. This guy lays out some level 7 E-barbs in the back, and that's going to hurt. I was already laying down my muskie there, so what I'm doing here is the distraction method. When they lay down a bunch of troops, especially E-barbs, as soon as they cross the bridge, guys, you need to start pulling them away from their target because they're going to run there and start dominating. So I laid down a 2-cost troop, my Stabby Gobs. And then further behind it, I'm laying down a 2-cost troop. Now that's 6 costs for his E-barbs, another 5 for there. He already spent 11. I've spent 2. It pulled him all the way there. My bomber and my long-range unit are going to kill him, right? So 2. That's 4, 7. I've laid down almost 11 as well. But I'm going to kill his entire squad. And I'm going to be left with troops to push with. So stopping there, spam push very effectively. Very high level. He's got level 8. He fireballs. All right, not a problem. Once he fireballs, I know, guys, he is out of elixir. That was it for him. So I made a rash decision and just jam my giant down right there to protect my muskie and get some hits on the tower. What I wasn't thinking about was his Skelly army. I did have those arrows in the bank, which helped me out. Bam, Skelly's gone. My giant's going to get a bunch of push. So another meta right now. He threw the Gob barrel. I already used my arrows, so I countered it with a 2-cost troop. The Gob barrel cost him 3. I countered it with the 2-cost troop. What you see here is probably not the right thing to do late in the night, and I was getting rammed by level 9s, level 10s constantly. Everyone just, I don't know what it is with lower levels, guys, just clouding up with garbage BMs. So you can play smarter, guys. You can play smarter. You don't have to taunt people. Don't listen to Cass right now. You don't have to taunt. But right there, so he lays down his barbs at the bridge. I'm going to pull them into the middle of the field, right? His barbs are gone. Here comes his E-barbs down the gut. So what do? Stabby gobs in the middle. It gets them away. Long distance shooter from afar. It kills them. There's his stabby gobs. I wasn't quick enough on my bomber, but I already got my giant pushing. I got my bomber behind it. So if he lays down the Skelly army, it's going to be a bad day for him. I predicted the Skelly with those arrows. It didn't happen, but I'm going to take the tower anyways. Like I said, it was a pretty long night for me. Your Valk splash damage is going to eat up those Skellies. So now we're just having fun going back and forth with little faces. Now I got a full push going. Those stabby barbs are going to push in my Valk, which is going to take down his barbs. And now I got another push. I still got my muskie sitting there. I dropped that giant in the middle, which the giant in the middle is a good move. It's a really good move. Reason being is it's going to focus in these towers, take the pressure off anything I put here. But the game was already over. That's a 3 crown summed up. You know, you just have to play smarter, pull the troops, and know how troops behave. Once you learn how troops behave, it makes it much worth it for you. So we're talking about how troops behave. We're going back to training camp, guys. We're talking about the basics. You know, if they lay a troop down here that does melee damage, put something long range. Put a spear gobs, put a muskie, so it can start shooting them as they're running at it. You know, and then you can block them with something else later. If they lay something that shoots down at the bridge, archers, muskie, you don't want to lay down a melee slow troop like a knight way back here, so it slowly walks up and gets shot the whole time. These are common mistakes I see that cost you troops and it costs you elixir. You want to gain the elixir advantage. You can do that. This is what I'm saying. Every game down here, someone starts with an automatic BM, just bad mouth, thinking their taunt is going to push me over the edge, or they got a better idea of how to play. It's not true. We're going to start taking these guys out automatically. So we both put down, these are tanks. These are slow walking tanks. His kills anything in front of it. I wanted to stick down my spear gobs. I knew that the whiz would one-shot him, so I had to put a Valk in front of the whiz and then use my bomber to kill the barrel. Not a problem. I still got a push going on with my giant too, and I threw down a muskie and some spear gobs behind him because he threw that lumberjack right up in his face, and I'm going to get good damage. The spear gobs have the lower range than my muskie, so they ran out in front of him. And towers are always going to want to shoot what's in front. That's why learning these cards, learning combos like that, how they behave to get them to work is golden. My favorite combo at these lower levels is the giant with the bomber and the muskie. It's a 3-card combo that pretty much can stop anything. The bomber behind the giant is going to stop any ground troop spam, or do a lot of splash damage, and the muskie is going to shoot anything out of air, plus it's powerful. So after his push, he still had a muskie. I threw my knight, as you could see, directly on the bridge in front of the muskie as it's crossing into my tower lane. So my knight is chopping super fast at the muskie, and the tower is shooting it. If I had laid my knight back here, and the muskie would just sat there and shot my knight the whole time, and I wouldn't have this double push going. This lane is pushing, and now my knight killed it and is creating his own push. So I put a splash bomber behind him to clean up in case anything. He throws down a bunch of spam in front of it, and they're going to get to the tower and do a lot of damage. Turning those defensive moves into a separate push is key. That's how you win the game. So now I knew he is coming with that whiz, a lot of splash damage. I pretty much had to sacrifice my gobs because I didn't want that lumberjack running directly into my tower. I had to do it. Now here's what I was talking about. I put the giant right in the middle as my muskie's crossing the bridge, and then I put gobs behind my giant to push him faster. It let my muskie that was pushing up the lane start shooting down the tower. And once again, that's a 3-star. You can see I'm being nice again. I give him the congratulatory good game. Good game. I don't promote BMing, so don't do it. Let's check out some more. So you're going to run into all sorts of types of decks down here. Right here's a level 9 player. He's got an odd deck. Not going to lie, he's throwing in, I didn't even know till the end of the game, but he threw in Clone into his deck. I didn't really see it till late in the game because we were really whooping up on him. But you got to remember, separate lane pushes. Don't keep beating your head against the wall. If they're sending troops down one lane and you're sitting on elixir, don't just keep pushing into their troops and dying over and over. Sometimes you got to switch lanes and separate their combos, their troops. Don't let them start cycling the way they want to cycle. Get them out of their cycle. My cycle on this deck, as you've seen, is usually the giant, the muskie, and the bomber behind them. Now, if I have to use those cards for defense or flip them in to stop a push real quick, my combo is out of order. And I find other ways to combo, like using the knight as my tank, but it's hard. It doesn't work as well. I don't have as much of a tank out of the knight as I do the giant. So getting someone out of their normal combo can be key. Now, I'm kind of out of my combo. He throws in these. So I start pulling them away with my gobs, and I pull them all the way to this other side, which is awesome because now I can use my bomber to clean them up and follow my giant and then throw my muskie back down. I am exactly back into the combo I want to play. I'm back into my cycle. So as you can see, the bomber and the muskie clean up perfectly, and I'm going to get a bunch of hits on that tower. So even though he rushed me as a level 9 with, what was those, level 8 or level 9 E-barbs, I took him down with 2 troops. Cost him 6 to throw him down. It cost me 4 to distract and destroy, and I continued my push on that opposite lane. That's what you want to do. So there's my knight. He met the giant skelly, and I know that giant skelly is going to come at my giant. So what am I going to do? I'm going to distract him to the side again. So he starts rocking to the side. I throw my stabby gobs to start cleaning him up. My muskie. Now I placed my muskie 1 square off to the left of where I wanted it. Not a problem. I know he's going to start spamming my giant on one lane. So I throw my bomber there. And what do I get to do? I throw another giant on the left lane, and I just turned a 1-lane push again into a 2-lane push that he's going to have to defend. Now, he defended it with E-barbs very well because they're very high level and they kill really quick. But I defended the E-barbs again, only losing 4 elixir, using a distance card, and setting up my preferred push once again. Now, right now, he's pretty much given up. I've stopped every single push he's thrown at me, so I'm just rushing the tower, collecting some crowns, and that's what I do. I hope this makes sense, guys. I hope distraction, destroying, lane pushing, staying in your preferred combos, and getting them out of their cycles is key. Now, did he probably want to shove the giant skelly and then the E-barbs up a lane? I assume so. I'm not too sure what his combo was, but it was not effective. I can tell you that. It was not effective. So you can use Arena 1 troops, understanding troop combos, how to pull troops out of their desired lane, and then creating counter pushes, guys. These are the basics that I see people have trouble with. But these are the basics, and you can do it with Arena 1 troops. Back to training camp. Go back to what needs to be learned, and then push all the way up to Legends. Guys, my main account, I finished in the top 200 global or local as my first week in level 12. And you, to get there, I'm not the best player in the world, but to get there, you have to understand the basics and be able to do them. Double lane pushing is awesome if you can do it. I like to try to do it. Sometimes it doesn't always work. So lastly, guys, what happens when you face the most meta of all meta decks with furnaces and hogs and everything, E-barbs, Skarmy? You know, what I'm saying is my deck is not the best cards right now. Very few of them are the best cards. Giant just got nerfed. I mean, Gobs, they're probably not the top right now. But this guy is using every top level card. And we're going to tie. We're going to tie. I shouldn't have given him a tower, but I knew I was screwed right here. So he puts down a princess, and I figured I could arrow her, right? Oh my gosh, my arrows are so weak, they won't even kill a level 1 princess. I knew I was screwed right there. I needed my arrows for those minis. All I could do is kind of pull a couple to the side. My cards are just so low and not strong. I'm not using the best deck in the world that I knew I was doomed. But I got some damage done on his tower. He's got a hog. He's got E-barbs. He's got the furnace. He's got the skarmy. Has the zap bait base. And I don't even have zap. And my arrows can't even kill his troops. So I knew I was screwed. I probably could have won, though, if I had just simply not arrowed his princess. I needed to know what my cards could do. So right now he's pushing with his E-barbs. I'm going to create some splash damage. I threw my stabby or spear gobs in front of the E-barbs to save my bomber because I needed to get that zap or that splash damage in. Now he's got the skarmy going. That was a waste of an arrow, and I realized as soon as I threw them out there, my troops were gonna die, and I shouldn't have wasted 3 elixir there because he's still got his minion horde somewhere. So I had to decide what to do here. I put my knight out to kill the princess so I could kill the hog with my stab gobs, and they just couldn't get the job done. And now he's gonna clog up that lane. I'm letting elixir build, thinking, boy, wonder if I could at least tie this. So here's a combo I like to do. If they're coming at you with skarmy all the time, put your Valk in front of your giant and then put the bomber behind the giant. Right here, I unleashed my arrows. I didn't know if they would kill that horde, and they did. I was happy about that. I see that he threw down basically his whole gauntlet to stop my push. So I know now I need to basically get that tower down. I'm thinking about it. So again, I'm going to throw my Valk in front of my giant and then throw back. I thought I was putting my muskie further back to kind of shoot whatever Valk was coming ahead. And that was the key right there, boys. I don't know if you saw it. So I learned that my arrows couldn't kill the princess, but what they could kill was the minion horde. So what do we know? You need to learn that there's 8 cards in a deck and they will cycle perfectly. So he threw down his furnace. He already used his E-barbs on his last push. He threw down his Valk. He threw down his princess. So the next card that he could possibly use to defend, because he could not defend with a hog, is he's going to throw down Skarmy or Minion Horde. He has to. Skarmy was his last used card. He might throw down Minion Horde because I think I still had my Valk at the time. So I unleashed my arrows perfectly, killed his Minion Horde as soon as my Giant got there. And that would be the game. We go into sudden death. We're going to try a bunch of pushes back and forth. Spoiler alert, it's not going to work. I try to get my Giant up. He hits me with Skarmy, and he hits me with E-barbs. I get a couple shots off. Here come his hog, so I'm going to kill it with Stab Gobs and Knight and try to push again. It doesn't work out. It was tied. But once you figure out the cards they're using, the order they're using in them, you can kind of predict what's coming next. You know their cycle. So figuring out their cycle in the beginning and then using that to your advantage is a very good thing to do. Because I knew something was coming. Had to be Skarmy, had to be Minion Horde. So I instantly launched my arrows and killed it as soon as it came out. Clutch play of the game. Only ended up in a tie. But I was going against the most meta deck right now. So I hope you guys like it. Hope it explains a lot. Press like and subscribe. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at @CastandBlast_COC. And that is how to beat the game with Arena 1 troops. You can literally use that strategy at every level and just continue on up. Should you switch out cards? Probably. These aren't the best cards in the world, but I'm using them well. So using any better card the same way as I'm using these is going to help you win. That's all for today, guys. Catch you next time.